to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And we are back. Once again, we are tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. And we haven't had a full crew in here doing the podcast in how long, Magnum? Lots of years.
4 years. Probably 3 or 4 years.
Everyone kind of went their separate ways. Today joining us, obviously, we got Magnum. We have got Jim.
That's me.
And we have got Richard.
Yes.
Is it Rich, Richard?
Hey, you, or
Dick?
please stop.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's fair. Any of those.
What's the safe word for there?
That's pineapple. Pineapple's actually
Pineapple, that's a good one.
Yeah, I think I watched. You ever watch Patty Mayo?
No.
Never mind. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh yeah, you should. He's on YouTube. He's kind of a funny dude. So I'm a little intimidated here because I've been doing this podcast for quite a while, and I've never ever have I had anyone else that's done a podcast on here. And I'm like, he's looking around at my setup. He's like going, and this is information I received literally 5 minutes ago. And I feel like you're judging my setup. You're judging everything I'm doing over here.
No, other than my headphones were really dusty.
Well, no one
It's
wants.
great. I love your setup. I was asking, oh, you got that? You got the Rodecaster Pro?
What, do you use a Rodecaster?
I don't. I record straight into Adobe Audition.
Okay, gotcha.
Or if I have up to 4 guests, I've got the Zoom Podcaster 4.
Okay,
So-
you got the Zoom they set in the middle?
Yep, the
I've
little
got
one.
that too. I used it for like a month. So it's
Didn't like
brand
it.
new. It's in a case and everything.
Yep, Rich will buy it.
I'll
Like-
buy it.
Yeah.
Will you?
$19.99.
Sure, I
Today.
could sell for just under $2,000. That's fine.
Yeah. Meet in the middle, guys.
There you go.
That's great.
So I thought it was a perfect opportunity. We just got, finally we have a nice day here in the valley.
Yes.
And we just got done with a basic, what do we call it, basic beginner's rifle? I don't know. And I kind of labeled it the basic rifle. And then people are like, what kind of rifle? I had people wanting to like sign up with like their 30-06 and stuff.
Sweet.
Like I had to talk to him. I had to talk him down just a little bit. I should have included carbine probably.
Yeah, that would have been helpful.
It is what
Maybe
it
a
is.
caliber listing,
It is
7.6239, 300 blackout.
Yeah, it is what it is. But what do you guys think of the class?
Me?
Yeah, I don't care. Whoever.
You know, I don't have a military background, just civilian shooting. I've
Yeah.
been shooting since I was like 5, like started out with, Ruger 1022 type thing. Haven't had an AR for that long. I was shooting a 5.56 today. Mm-hmm. And I thought, okay, maybe some of the stuff is probably too basic, but then Magnum and his expertise and experience, the stuff that he was going through, talking through in just the instruction portion, I was like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And then taking us out to the range and doing some practical drills. It's all about basics.
Well,
You're not going to get basics off YouTube. You're not going to get basics off, your buddy. And so many people do so many different things. And to be honest, like if you go out to some places here in the Valley where they have like class 3 operators and stuff coming through, it's a little intimidating for a basics class. You might go out there and you walk away going, I didn't learn shit because I was too afraid to ask questions. And Magnum said, there's no stupid questions, only stupid people, when he said that to me. So I was like, okay, I got that.
I like that because we try to capitalize here, and you heard it, and I've something I created this punchline, catchline motto, whatever, created 10 years ago, actually 11 years ago now. When I started this was a practical, not tactical, right? And I like to stand behind that, and I think we do a good job of that here. And I like what you said. You thought it was at first you're like, this is a little basic, but guess what? It all comes together, right? You have to build that base, that foundation. You have to understand how things work, and to go out there and to put it all together, you have to start somewhere. So, what did you think?
I thought it was a great class. So I do have a little bit of a military background. So tearing down the weapon, putting it back together, understanding the parts of your weapon on everything. I thought that was fantastic. I hadn't done it in years. It still came back to me, but to watch Magnum go through and just take his time with everyone, making sure they all understood how to take it down, how to clean their weapon, how to, just these basics so that if anything were to go wrong or something goes off, it was a great set of instruction. The Magnum did not make fun of me either. Well, there was that one part, but
I did.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we were laughing. At you. You didn't see it.
But it turned out great. I thought that the instruction and then the implementation of that instruction outside was fantastic. It was a hoot.
Awesome. I appreciate that, guys. And, like I said, Todd has said it. We at Patriot Defense, that whole goal is to make it practical, right? Mm-hmm. I highly recommend the other schools in the Valley, right? Go to them. They have got some really awesome tactic stuff that you can go through. I've taken their classes. Mm-hmm. I've been fortunate enough to get some private instruction from some of those folks. And in the classroom portion, we talked about a little bit is, get those basics down, because ultimately it's sight alignment, trigger press, right? Mm-hmm. And we got those basics down. We're doing the right thing. Getting out there and getting other tools from other people. I mean, I'm not an operator either. I am just an absolute gun geek, right? I geek out on everything. I want to know what each spring does, what each, a little part does. And by better understanding how that all works together, it works out well for us. You guys did great in the class. You're plowing through it super fast, picked up all it really, really quick. And I really did appreciate your guys' patience with some of our folks that needed a little bit more instruction. So it's great to have good students and folks that come out there with an open mind rather than a cup already full.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was one of those students at one point. I knew everything until I knew nothing. And it was pretty interesting.
Well, and one of the things I appreciated that Todd does out here, but the folks in our class, there's 5 people in our class, 2 ladies and a gentleman, probably over 60, 65.
Yeah.
And you're not going to see that at some of the other places, but I like the fact that those folks wanted the training.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe they had a fear of a rifle and now they don't, or maybe they just want to practically learn how to do something or pick up a new hobby at an older age, whatever. But you took it slow. You weren't frustrated by some of the slower pace or gun jams or not being able to hold the rifle up long enough. It was just great they got the same instruction we did. They paid the same price for the class. They got treated with respect. And at the end of the day, we all walked away with some new skills, which I thought was great.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. I really enjoy the different levels of experience, but the different type of students we get here, the variety, I guess the variety, right?
Yeah.
That the older gentleman that was in class today, he did absolutely fantastic.
Good.
He was a little slower than the rest, but that's okay. We all start to slow down at a certain point, right?
Yeah.
But man, he was trying really hard, and I could tell, and he did good. He was trying really hard. What I appreciate, he was trying really hard to keep it safe.
Yeah.
Right. And so maybe, you taught how you come up from the high ready or come down from the high ready or up from the lower, whatever. Right. And, sweep that safety off. Right. Mm-hmm. And he was a little behind safety was on, and he was a little slower taking it off, which in my mind, he was getting a little quicker. He's getting a little bit better, but it was good because he was trying to be safe. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that's kind of why I stood down there and was, helping him out and teaching him. And it's, as we get older, and I know Magnum, you've seen this a lot. I know you guys have been in a few classes. You can have, so for example, I watch my son, my youngest son, he's 10 years old. I watch him in his Taekwondo class, and he's trying to do these like kicks and all this other stuff, right?
Yep.
And I watch those little kids, and they don't have balance, and they can't quite control their movements yet, right?
Yep.
And I see that as you get older and you get past a certain point, it's almost like you go that direction again.
Yep. You regress.
A little bit, right? And so I just, kudos for him. He'd never fired that gun.
Really?
Like he bought it. He's had it for a couple of years. He'd never fired it. And man, I thought he did great.
Yeah. Probably wasn't sure how to fire it.
And
he came out and you guys showed him.
And the 2 ladies that were here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were awesome.
They were awesome too. They were a hoot. They got in there. They weren't, not that there's anything to be squeamish about, but they jumped right in. They were phenomenal. I loved it. I got some great pictures of the whole group out there shooting, and it's just what a variety, right?
Yep.
And it's nothing against those more tactical classes, but it's not just a bunch of young guys in their 20s and 30s out there, kitted out shooting, which that's fun too. But I mean, this is like this is like the whole variety, man. This is absolutely fantastic.
I find from the instructor side, I mean, I've been blessed to do this now for 5 years.
Yeah.
Right? And I find from the instructor side, every time I come out with a new set of students, I'm learning something, right?
Yeah.
I might know the technical portions of it, right? And I can explain those technical portions. But I think what I've learned is that slowdown piece. You can take the time to teach to the individual rather than teach to the group. And then eventually when you get to that level, right, and you go out and you run out there with the tier 1 guys, or you run out there with, guys that had a lot of experience, it's not as intimidating. You have all the basics. And not to knock anybody that's out there, but some of those folks aren't quite as good as you think they would be because they didn't master the basics. I mean, they can do some cool stuff.
And they can do it fast.
Oh, yeah.
It looks
Run, jump, all that good stuff. Yeah, I wish I could do that. I'd run, fall, break a knee, get scraped up, and I'm going to
Shoot on
cry.
target. Yeah.
I'm going to lay on the ground and shoot you from the ground.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, there's always something to learn and then something to expand on. So
Absolutely.
good stuff.
So who's going to go out and buy a new rifle? Who's going to go out? Who's going to buy a suppressor?
That's the suppressor right there.
I don't think it's a rifle. I think it's that fancy suppressor.
Right.
That was night and day.
It's
we made
ridiculous.
fun of it. We said it sounded like he was shooting the 22.
It did. It was funny because you'd hear, you'd say whatever, and you hear bang, 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 ting, ting, ting.
Yep.
I was like,
Yep.
what are you down there with your freaking noisy cricket down there?
But you can hold it on target easier.
Yeah.
Like there's no recoil. It stays
There's
on
no
target.
recoil. Is it that much difference?
Yeah.
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 I will say I've never thought about buying a suppressor ever. Like it's crossed my mind a few times. Like, just go buy another gun. And today I actually felt, as I'm observing the class,
need.
and this wasn't even when we were out on the range.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about suppressors, Magnum, in the class, and I'm like, I think I need a suppressor.
Yes.
Like, and I don't know anything about suppressors.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking I need one.
But
You probably know a guy that
you
knows
need
something
one.
too.
I know a guy that Like, could I get one? And can you get you can get a compressor to cover a few different calibers, but if I wanted one for my PCC, I'd have to get one for that and then one for my AR, right?
No. So for your 9mm PCC, there are a lot of great suppressor companies out there, right? Yeah. The ones I like the most, and it's just because I'm budget minded.
Oh, yeah, me too. My wife is, not me.
Yeah.
Fair.
The Yankee
Sets
Hill
the budget.
Machine suppressors, right? And they make one called the RH9 that it's capable of full auto suppress fire. It's 9mm and anything under that. So you can run rifle loads up to 300 Magnum through it on a 9mm suppressor.
Wow.
And the nice thing about all the YMH and most suppressors, I would say nowadays, is they have the thread pitch in the rear hub of the suppressor is you can change it out and put whatever muzzle device you want on there as a quick detach. So, I mean, you can put it on from a PCC to a 5.56 to a 300 blackout. You can do that with just a standard thread pitch. So it's 1/2 by 28. Most rifles will come out and have that on there already.
Yep.
But if you want something where it's a quicker detach and you don't have to do all the threading, YMH makes a great system. They got the SRX or SXR system now for it. Okay. And there's a lot of other adapters that thread straight into that. So if you're running an ACC or something like that, you put your adapter in it and you're good to go.
So how much is something like that? And why doesn't it have a cooler? What's its name again?
The RH9.
And why doesn't it have a cooler name like Nighthawk Swamp Donkey or something? Like,
that would probably cost like $200 or $300 more.
Yeah.
Just for the name.
Dude, I'd pay
it's
for
a longer name.
Dude, I'd pay for the name.
The Swamp Donkey.
I'd get that,
You know what?
get
You
that
can
laser engraved.
You can etch anything you want on the side of it once you got it.
What did you say? Deadpool riding a unicorn? What?
Yeah,
Put
that's
that on
good.
there,
That'd
too?
be cool. So, but how
Hey,
much is that?
my favorite one is they have they got one called the Fat Cat.
Nice.
Right.
I
And
like
so
that.
Yeah.
Essentially, it takes the volume of a longer suppressor. So the more volume you have, the more suppression you have because it allows that gas to expand and cool down quicker. Well, it's fatter and shorter. So you get like a K style that's short. But now the selling point on this thing is the end cap is the cat's ass. So you get this cat turned around looking at you, and the exit hole is his bunghole. So
Nice.
yeah, I'm saving for one of those.
That might be right up my alley.
I think that speaks to all of us right now.
Shooting cats with it? Could you do that too? Or-
I suppose
Hey,
not in town though.
No.
We don't support that on the here at the Patriot Defense podcast.
No, we love cats.
Not that you're going to be vocal about.
No. If you have extra cats, just drop them off at Todd's house.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, don't do that. My dogs. I got 5 dogs now. They're just going to eat them. That's the only thing that's going to
But you won't have field rats anymore.
That's
Won't have
true.
field rats.
That's true. That is
Nope.
true. So one more thing I wanted to bring up. Well, some to ask everyone every now and then, right? Is the question I used to ask is, what have you done that is Second Amendment related? But let me ask a different question now. Like, if you had, I'm not saying like just loads of money, like unending amount of money, but if you could go out right now and buy anything handgun wise that you might carry, let's say I don't want just a Safe Queen. I want to know what you would buy for a carry gun and why you would buy that gun. We'll start with you, Richard.
I'm deep in
Dick,
thought.
whatever. Dick.
I've been looking at the Springfield Echelon.
I wonder why.
I'm a Springfield whore.
I might have one of those for sale.
Ooh.
See,
And his is pimped out.
if you manifest it, it will come. What is it? Whatever. But something like that. Otherwise, I do have a few firearms, few handguns that I enjoy shooting. I enjoy shooting here at the class, and I feel much more comfortable carrying than I ever did before. This class, I think that you can buy whatever firearm. If you had unlimited amounts of money, yes, you can go buy Staccato. You can go buy something really fancy, the Platypus that does double otter kicks and stuff, whatever that,
He's got two.
You got to. Magnum has to. But I
He's
think,
not denying it.
I think coming to the class makes such a difference because I just feel more comfortable with what I have.
You're just putting time in.
Putting time in.
You're
with it.
putting time in, and that's
It becomes fun, and you're getting more comfortable with your skill set and the firearm or the system you have.
and you get more confident with it.
Exactly. So, yes, would I go buy a Staccato or something? Absolutely. But I think that what I have right now, the Springfield Prodigy, I just feel so much more confident with it. So
It's a big gun.
yeah, it goes pew.
Don't touch the table. Yeah, that's much better.
Oh, really? Is that what
Well,
it
you
was?
can touch it, but don't move your hands.
Yeah, it bangs.
Sorry, that's just a me thing. Okay.
Bang, bang.
What about you?
So my current concealed carry gun is a Smith & Wesson Shield in a 9mm, which I had the Shield in a 40 cal before because somebody talked me into stopping power. Got to have a 40 cal for stopping power. Took it out, snappy, hated it.
Yeah.
Hated it. So I actually went to Washington Street Pawn, worked with Forrest,
Uh-huh.
and sold him the 40 cal, bought the 9mm from him. I like the 9mm a lot better, but what I found over time too, that's a small gun, and I got big man hands, and it's tough to get hands on a gun that small and be consistent with it.
Yeah, I did a whole podcast about that.
Right. So and nobody told me that when I went to go buy the gun for the first
They
time.
won't
Nobody,
because you're waving some money around and nothing
like, here's
is,
a gun.
Nothing against anyone, but you
No, no.
want to buy a gun and you want to buy that and you don't have any questions and you're going to hand it. Of course, they're going to sell it to you every time.
Yep. So what I'm thinking now, I've gone out and I've held a few. I haven't shot some of these other guns, but the Springfield Hellcat Pro, just because it's a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger frame, longer handle. What was the Glock 43X? So when I've held that, looked at that, it all comes down to like handle angle and grip angle and stuff like that and comfort. And then you have to think like, how are you going to carry it? I will probably carry it either outside the waistband or maybe inside the waistband. I don't like appendix carry because I'm not as fit as I used to be and it's not very comfortable. But I never thought of that too. People are like, well, how are you going to carry it? I don't know. And sometimes when you go to the local gun shops and stuff, there's a lot of machismo and testosterone, and they just expect you to know stuff. Again, not a military guy, not a big background in handguns and stuff like that. And I want to ask questions, but I get the look like, you should know that. How come you don't know that? You're not a man if you don't know that, type thing. So that type of stuff. So I'm open to suggestions, but I've just been told, and something I've looked at is something that's comfortable in the hand, comfortable where you're going to wear it.
Right.
Because if you're going to be concealed carrying it all day, like I've got a Canik TP9 and it's a great gun. I love to shoot it, but I can't conceal carry that.
Why
It
not?
weighs a ton.
You
I get tired.
So both
do it.
both me and James are looking at each other here.
Well, but think about what I do for a living. I work in an office and it's wearing like khakis and a polo shirt. And concealing something that big and that kind of, now if I was wearing a hoodie or I was wearing a shirt untucked, that's different. But in that situation, or if I'm wearing a tie or got a suit coat on, that's a little bit different. But just kind of every day wearing a polo and a khaki, I guess I could wear it on my hip, but outside the waistband. But
James, go for it.
So for me, if I had unlimited money, it'd be a machine gun of some kind. But I
Conceal that
essentially,
puppy.
That's fair.
I essentially have everything that I want, and I'm satisfied. I don't. I suppose if I were going to do something else, I would have another platypus built, but I'm waiting until they do it in 45 ACP. So that should be fairly soon.
That would be beautiful.
Yeah.
Because I have a platypus. It's actually, it's my I commit 30 days of every month to my carry rotation. So I carry one gun out of my collection for 30 days, and then I'll switch to the next gun. That way I stay fresh on all of them. But my thoughts on concealed carry, right? Carry the biggest gun that you can fight with comfortably and you shoot well.
Yeah.
Dress around it and get the right holster for it, right? So you mentioned you didn't like appendix carry because you're a thicker guy. I'm a fat fuck, right? and Todd can attest to this. I carry a full size 1911 appendix carry all day.
Wow.
Everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like kudos. I mean, I think everyone should carry everywhere, but all day, everywhere.
Same with the platypus. I mean, it's full size. It's a double stack, so it's a little bit wider. When I owned a Staccato, did the same thing. It really is about the rig, the belt, and then how you dress around it. Yeah. And I'm in agreement with you. With the smaller concealed carry guns, I find them harder to shoot.
Yep.
I've owned, I don't know, probably 15 or 20 different subcompacts, and they always end up in the chopping block.
I remember when you showed up with that GX4 Toro.
Oh, the Taurus, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, what is this? And why did you buy it?
But, well, sometimes it's nice just to throw a gun in your pocket and go, right?
It is.
But in practicality, you come out and you shoot it, and you're going, man, I am shooting like 2 S bags today. This is just not working. Yeah. And then with some of the smaller guns, your P365s, your Hellcats, you're getting that capacity now, which is nice, right? But do you sacrifice controllability and do you sacrifice accuracy if you do that? So ultimately, it's getting the right rig, the right the stuff for it, and then dressing around it. There's also off-body carry options for office space,
like a purse.
So I'm in a lot of spaces. Yeah, I get a man purse, man.
I've got a messenger bag.
Yeah. He does.
Those work well, and there's very specific bags for it that are, they design messenger bags that do that. My favorite thing is to count the tactical Timmies when I'm in the gym or I'm out. They got all the MOLLE webbing on their backpack and that, and I'm going, well, at least I know where to get a gun.
Yeah. If something goes wrong,
But it's just developing that. And again, concealed carry, sometimes when you think about having that larger gun, printing, and you're thinking, oh God, it's going to print. 99% of the population is never going to know.
Yeah, true. Especially when you appendix carry. So, you're facing people most of the time, right? I mean, so it's like lost. It's there because you can feel it,
right?
But it's lost in your profile. I mean, where if it's on your hip, they can see it because you're facing people talking to them. They can see it a lot easier.
Yeah.
So you got to remember that. So what you feel is not what people see.
Yeah. Okay.
And you just got to keep your hands off of it and done with the proper belt, done with the proper piece of foam and the proper spot and the proper holster makes a big difference. But I mean, I do understand, and I hate to complain. I mean, I was bigger, then I lost a bunch, and I've put on a few since then, and I still appendix carry, but I can tell. Right? It's a little different. James is like, you guys are a bunch of bands. He's like,
we got the wrong rig, man. That's what it is.
And then the other thing is just getting comfortable with it. Once again, just when I first started carrying the Prodigy, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm fat. I don't know if this thing makes me look fat. But after a few days,
got used
consistency,
to it.
You just get used to it.
And part of it too is and James has come up. I mean, there's a few holsters that have, but James is also, he places a piece of, and I do the same thing, but a place of like a wedge piece of foam on and it makes it so it doesn't dig into you, but it also, what does it do? It kicks the barrel out and kicks the rest of it back in, so it's not. Maybe instead of, unless you got like washboard abs or something, right? It's not doing this. It kind of gets pushed back into place a little bit.
I call it the FUPA pad, right?
I call it
above penis.
So I call it. We call it dick foam. So whatever, pick your choice. Whatever you're more comfortable saying.
Okay.
Yeah, cheap yoga block. Cut it up a few times. Start figuring out what fits. And Velcro works great.
See where it feels good.
Yeah, and then getting the proper fit holster, right? So you can go out. Tier 1 makes some good stuff, right? I like Tier 1 stuff. There's a local guy here in the valley that does all my stuff custom. Cryptic Kydex.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome guy to work with. pricing is in the right range, and he stands up behind his work, does a great job on his work. If it's something you don't like, he fixes it and he gets it right. I have specific things I need because I've been carrying this way for so long, and Todd's the one actually converted me to appendix carry.
What'd you do before?
I was strong side, right hip, right? And I was always finding that 3 o'clock holster because, again, it was always 1911. In the back of that thing, you bend over, sticks out.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, or you rub on it, or you rub up against something, and it's no fun, right? And then, or you slip and fall in the snow, and it embeds itself into your hip bone. Yeah, that was a game changer. I'm like, I'm going to push it where there's some padding, and I fall, and it doesn't bother me, you know? But reaching out to the right guys and talking to them, and then you guys are already on this journey now, right? Your heads are in it. You're picking out, hey, this gun doesn't work for me for this reason, right? That's the start. Finding what works for you, what you shoot well, and if going smaller means, if you can shoot it well and you can shoot it fast, then it doesn't matter what anybody else says.
Yeah. True.
It doesn't mean anything.
And as far as the class that you guys are attending, right, the group, we are this far away from actually learning how to practice the draw and stuff like that. That's what we're going to start doing here maybe next time.
Nice.
I got to reach out and just make sure everyone's got stuff, holsters and whatnot.
Yep.
But we're getting really close to that as well. So yeah, I love it. I mean, seeing people take and you never finish your journey, right?
No.
But seeing people start the journey and make their way through it is kind of fun. And you guys are looking at each other, and I think you probably have to leave. Am I right?
Yeah, we got about another minute here.
Probably need to take off. So, well, I appreciate you guys stopping
thanks for
by.
having us on.
It
Great
was
job out
Sharing
there,
more
guys,
info.
too.
That's the best part.
I won't touch
I'm gonna
the
go
table.
back. Yeah,
I
yeah.
promise if you
It's
ever
okay,
have me
it's
back,
okay.
I won't touch the table.
So, I tell you what, hit us up because I think we need to see you guys. If you can swing it,
Yeah.
I think we need to make some arrangements and get you guys in the practical rifle pistol
This
class.
is
Don't you? Don't
Ready
you?
for
Way.
Don't you agree, James?
I do. As soon as we get that bullet button piece of crap out of your California hanger.
Oh, dude.
So let me know, and what days for sure. I got to write it all. You can tell me all you want, but I'm not going to remember from here to the house.
Okay.
And then we'll get it figured out. If you guys are truly interested in the class,
Let's do it.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
So fantastic. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to figure out how to pause this. I think if I push this and hold it down, maybe. And we're back. And I don't know what that horrible noise is.
It's your refrigerator.
Is it the refrigerator?
Yeah, it was the electrostatic coming off and picking it up.
Dang the refrigerator. Oh well, we'll just
Fresh food for everybody. It's all
we'll
good.
just freaking run with it. But anyhow, am I going to add the question? Those guys left. The question was, are you going to edit this part out? No, I'm not going to edit it out. It paused. We picked up, man. That's life. This is live action over here. This is the way it works, man.
Yeah, just screwed up in real time.
In real time. I mess everything up anyhow. Might as well do it in real time as well. So what did you think of the class today? I thought it was great.
I thought it went really well. We had a lot of good listeners. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they understood it. They started really picking it up. I felt good about it. I really did, and I hope that they got something. Each got something out of it when they go back home, and maybe they're a little bit safer. You know, for the long run in it. But all good. Great people too. I had a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, it was super fun. And you got what I meant when I stood by the gentleman at the end. I mean, he was doing everything good. He was just a little, just moved a little slower. But man, kudos for being safe because he could have just went bang, bang, bang. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
And but he was hitting pretty decent.
Yep. Yeah, he's keeping solid
And
groups.
I wondered too because I mean he had that LPVO on, right? I mean I've never shot with one of those, but I would almost think a red dot might be a little quicker, a little easier. I mean,
a red dot is quicker and easier.
Yeah.
LPVOs have their place, and I won't knock them because I've had them and I enjoy them.
sure.
But in your home defense practicality role, you're not beating a red dot. It's not. You're not going to beat it. Best way to go. I mean, inside 300 meters and in, red dot will do anything you need it to do.
Gotcha.
Magnifiers, quick detach magnifiers. You don't have to keep them on your rifle for the LPVO effect. Use them to zero your rifle. Use them if you're on property and you're clipping coyotes or something. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we want Rule 4 in place. Know your target, what's beyond, and if you can't, the only thing you can see is the rodent at that distance, and you're putting a dot on it. Can you clearly see what's behind it?
Right.
So target identification is a real thing. Throw it on when you need it. Take it off when you don't need it.
What did you think about the ladies in class? I mean, they were good. They didn't surprise you because they were, but I mean, they were into it. They picked up. They
did, and I was actually surprised with some of the past folks we've had in, and they took a little more instruction. They all did well in the end.
Oh, yeah, very good.
But these ladies picked up very, very fast. They did a great job.
And they had lots of fun, and I almost think we could see them. I think, and I don't know about you, I think we could see them sign up for even the full class, right? The practical handgun, practical rifle class, and I think I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I'd give a couple of them a lighter rifle. Like your loaner rifle was a good balance for those ladies.
Yeah.
The one lady who was in there had a beautiful Bravo company that was her son's.
Yeah.
He can give that to me anytime he wants. I'll be happy to take it. But it's a great rifle. A little heavy on the front end for her, but she still did extremely well with it. I just think it fatigued her a little faster than it could have.
Yeah.
But something a lighter rifle setup for her. But her skill, I mean, really getting that thing up into a proper cheek weld, proper shoulder weld. Her presses were good. She was keeping fairly tight groups.
Yeah.
For her first time shooting any rifle. That was the first time she ever shot. So I mean, that was super exciting to see.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. This is a good foray, beginning like into more of our like rifle type classes, and I'm really excited about it. And some people may look and say, "Hey, you only had 5 people sign up." Man, I had 5 people sign up. Do you know how different that is for me if it's not a permit class and I just put up a class like this to actually get people to sign up for it? Like, instead of lots of just one-off singular type private classes, that's a pretty big deal for around here. And I'm not the only instructor that'll say so, right? I don't have this big draw of big fancy ranges, and you address that in the class, and I appreciate that. But trying to get people to go, oh, sign up there. We're gonna put a bunch of people in this class. He's got advertising. He's doing this class on Saturday, June 1st. Like that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. So I was pretty excited. I mean, I really was. So, thanks to you for coming out and helping with that. I do appreciate that. Now, you said you wanted to talk about your French gun.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a very respected guy here in the Valley. Love this dude. But he was knocking on the French on Friday, and I just had to go look up and remind that awesome individual that the French have chosen his handgun of choice, which is the Glock. If you listen to the podcast before or you come out to Todd's range, I'm not a fan. Right.
Someone showed up with a Glock today, though.
Yeah,
and
that's the stickler. I now have a Glock that I actually purchased from a really good friend of mine. Let's call it Glock with flair because he did all the right things to make it a worthwhile Glock.
So Glock with flair. So it is a French Glock.
It is. Came with a white flag and everything.
It's Glock with flair.
There you go.
I like it.
But the real purpose behind picking this thing up is it was a good friend of mine's gun. I know the gun. I've shot it.
It feels really good.
It does. He's done some phenomenal stippling and recontouring work, so it points like it should, not like a Glock. It points like a firearm.
You look like it rolled around in a mud puddle, but other than that,
yeah, she's a little beat. She's a little worn in, but she's accurate and she's in God's caliber. And the great part, I mean, who can say they can generally with a hand my size, like average to medium, can run a Glock 21 fairly easily when it's done right.
Right.
But eventually the Platypus, they're working on additional calibers. Stealth Arms is working on their double stack 45, which is going to run Glock 21 mags. So I figured, well, might as well have 2 guns that run Glock 21 mags.
Yeah.
I already have the other Platypus, so I can run Glock 17 mags in my Zev OZ9C Hypercomp, and I can run them in my Platypus. $12 a pop. Can't argue with that.
I'm going to say times are changing. Like you bought a Glock. Patriot Defense is doing rifle classes. Todd's thinking he needs to buy a freaking suppressor now. I'm really seriously considering a 2011 of some sort. Like, I don't know what's happening over here.
I have one for you now too. We got to talk about that offline.
But I don't know. I literally don't know what's happening anymore. Like, I don't even know myself anymore.
You're evolving.
I'm.
You're hitting the iron in the gym now, putting some size on. Pretty soon you can be rolling around with like body armor and a tier 1 belt. It's going to be awesome.
That's going to take another couple years for that, I think. But
That's okay. You can build the class base from. We can go from practical, not tactical, to practical and tactical. I don't know.
I'm kidding. Just take that out. That was.
Well, wait a minute. No, you got the Sims around still.
That was just an. That was an inside.
Yeah, I was excited when I got to shoot you with it.
That was fun, wasn't it?
It was.
So we need to put together another one of those classes. I know we've had some requests for that. So we'll talk about that. I think we've generated some more interest in the defensive shotgun class today.
Yeah.
Like, I love it, man. It's going to be a good summer.
I'm super excited because I tested the concepts out last weekend.
Yeah.
I went out with my pastor, his family, and my 10-year-old son wanted to come with us.
Uh-huh.
And a friend of mine loaned me a pump shotgun because I'm modern and I have all semi-autos. And so with a pump, you're going to soak up some significant recoil.
Yeah.
And I took the techniques that I'll be teaching at the class and gave it to my 10-year-old son, let him shoot some really lightweight birdshot, and then loaded in a 3-inch, 1.5 ounce, number 8 shot, and he ran that thing like a 22. And I was amazed to see my 10-year-old skinny little son, who's a great shooter, by the way.
Yeah.
But take a 12 gauge and run it the
like
way
that.
he did.
Yeah.
As easy as he did. And he's like, yeah, let me try slugs next. And I'm like, those are kind of expensive, but getting him up there. Taught those same techniques to my pastor and his son and son-in-law, and watching those techniques turn things around. So there's going to be a lot more, but it's a good way to get started.
Yeah, I'm just messing with my mic over here. Don't you worry about me. You're looking at me. You're talking. I'm paying attention, but I'm doing some weird stuff. I'm trying to figure out now. I don't know if anyone else can hear this, but I'm getting this horrible buzzing noise, and maybe it's we haven't had 4 people in here forever, and maybe it's telling me that I need to do that more often. Or,
it could be.
Or something. Yeah.
Or fix the connections.
No, I appreciate I don't know, man. They've been good for years, though. That's the problem. I do appreciate your help. I'm looking forward to all that. I'm looking forward to the shotgun class and this concept you're talking. I'm super freaking excited about all this. Like, this is gonna be amazing. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to wrap this up because I can't handle that noise anymore. Like, it's as I would like to say I'm not an audio snob, but I kind of am because I got really lucky with this and everything sounds really good all the time. I think it does. And this is driving me nuts. If I hear this in the recording, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to try it. We're going to take a pause here. Okay. Now I can actually grab that and should be able to remove it. I'm actually going to have to edit today.
Awesome.
I don't know if that's awesome or not, but I'll get it taken care of. But I appreciate you coming out. I know this is kind of a short podcast. I do appreciate it. If you listen to the podcast, I appreciate that as well. If you do one thing, just share this thing. Share this podcast on your social media page. I don't really care where you share it. Just share it. Get it shared. That's the best thing to do. I like these kind of like a what's that? Like a debriefing after the class, right? Not that we're doing anything weird in here when I say debriefing, but the debriefing after the class, we talk about it and talk about how it went. Super excited. This is going to be a good summer for Patriot Defense.
Absolutely, man.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. So, you can get a hold of me. You can get a hold of me if you got any comments or stories, whatever. Call me, text me, area code 620-794-6223. It's area code 620-794-6223. And other than that, everyone have a great week. Bye.